Trump is alive and well, or at least he's just alive. There were some pretty wild rumors over the weekend that Trump actually died and the White House was concealing his death. If that actually did happen, his death would be such a tragedy, right? And two, if something with the gravity of the President of the United States fucking died and there is an active effort to cover that up was going on, I don't know, I think we get a trillion leaks about that before we got official confirmation. We're not talking about a competent administration in the slightest. The same administration that was talking about bombing Houthis in Yemen on a fucking messaging app, and one of the participants accidentally added a journalist to the group chat, who then leaked a transcript of the messages that were exchanged. So how can I possibly believe for even just a second that this administration could successfully hide something like Trump's death? Anyway, talks of Trump's supposed death began occurring because prior to this past Tuesday, when he held a press conference, Trump had not made any public appearances since the previous Tuesday, last week. No talking to the press, no speeches, no anything of the sort, which is extremely unusual for someone like Trump who can't spend more than like 5 fucking seconds away from a camera. And then on either Saturday or Sunday, photos emerged of Trump at a golf resort, and in those photos he looked like a walking corpse. They were meant to serve as a way to say, look, see, the president is alive. But they only stoked the flames and raised speculation that at the very least, Trump is not in good health. I also saw some speculation that it was actually a body double in those photos and Trump is really dead, which leaned a little too much into conspiratorial territory and blue anon bullshit for my taste. But I don't think it's too erroneous to at the very least say, yeah, I don't think Trump is at tip-top health. That's not to say I think he's literally on the brink of death, but in terms of his cognitive abilities, he hardly makes sense half of the time, which, to be fair, isn't exactly new for Trump. But his speech has gotten noticeably worse. He also can't even fucking walk in a straight line. And I've been seeing a lot of deflection from MAGA saying, what about the guy we had for 4 years prior, who also couldn't string a sentence together? His brain was noticeably mushed too, and he was also hidden away from the public. Trump himself even brought this up in his press conference the other day. People go crazy when I disappear for a few days. Meanwhile, Biden was hidden away for so much longer from the public, and no one cared. First off, yes, people did care. One of the top things people would talk about during Biden's term is his cognitive ability. It was bad that we were gaslit for so long by Biden's administration and the Democratic Party about how Biden is actually mentally fit to serve another term, until they just couldn't deny his cognitive decline anymore when he had that disastrous debate performance with Trump. And then they finally made him step down from seeking another term at the final fucking hour, and look at the situation that put us in. And it's also bad that we're gaslit to believe that there's nothing to see here in terms of Trump's cognitive ability. Trump may be up there in years, but he's as sharp as a 25-year-old. Yeah. Maybe, regardless of what political party they're from, we shouldn't have these old fucking fossils where we have to constantly worry if they're cognitively or physically fit for the job, or if they're just gonna suddenly die one day. That could also very well happen when you're as old as Trump and Biden. Be in such high positions of power. I hate this whole what about Biden shit, because it's just dumb deflection. Because yeah, I think Biden is an old decrepit piece of shit too, who was clearly not fit for the job. When it comes to not wanting geriatrics to run this country and dictate its future when they're not even gonna be fucking alive for it, that is hardly a partisan issue for me. And it also annoys me because these people almost get it. Biden was a doddering old man, unfit for the job, and we shouldn't have people like that running the country. But they just stop short at criticizing Trump for being exactly fucking that, because he's their guy. And I also have to throw some shade at the media and the general public. Of course, regular Democrats and the left have been scrutinizing Trump's very apparent mental decline, and worse physical ailments than just chronic venous insufficiency that he likely has. All throughout Biden's 4 years, every misspeak, every gaffe, every stumble like him almost accidentally tripping over a step, boarding Air Force One, were spread across social media like a firestorm. I saw various articles written about many of these instances that showcase Biden as the feeble old man he really is. And I'm not saying it was wrong to draw attention to that. People should should absolutely call into question the health and ability of the president when there is reasonable doubts surrounding that. But I don't see a whole lot of the same thing surrounding Trump outside of Democrat and lefty circles. People just seem to normalize the abnormal when it comes to him because he is such an abnormal and polarizing figure in general. And the Democrats are seen as the normal party because that's what they want to posture themselves as. So there is a lot more scrutiny for them than there is for the Republicans, and especially Trump, and I think this is incredibly harmful. Not just in terms of people going meh when it comes to Trump's apparent mental and physical decline, when people were absolutely not like that during Biden's 4 years, but it also creates a sense of apathy surrounding the darker elements of Trump's second term. ICE rounding up many legal and naturalized citizens, whatever. The tariffs that will wreck the economy, whatever. Gutting Medicaid that will cause tens of millions of people to be kicked off it, whatever. Undermining free speech by attempting to outlaw expressions of dissent with your country, like flag burning, whatever. Toying, quote-unquote, with the idea of seeking a third term, whatever. And all of this among a very long laundry list of bad and alarming things surrounding this administration that people just, by and large, don't seem to care about. Because Trump never tried to posture himself as a normal and rational figure anyway, so we don't need to hold him to the same standards as regular politicians. And we're witnessing the consequences of this line of thinking, and it frustrates me to no end that more people aren't waking the fuck up. Anyway, as much as I anticipate the big beautiful obituary, the guy is the President of the United States, meaning he has access to the best healthcare in the world, the best doctors in the world, and medication and treatment that most people in this world do not receive, so I can't get too gleeful just yet over the idea of him croaking. But when that day comes, whether it's tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years from now, let's just say that'll be a very special day for me, and I'm sure millions of other people. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.